This video we are going to talk about the lacrimal reflex. Such an interesting thing we have to see. First orientation. This is the base of the skull. This is the cranial fossa and here is the clivus. Here is the body of the sphenoid. You could see, I think. Here is the pituitary fossa or sella turcica and here is the clivus. In this clivus only you will be having the brainstem, the most important part of the brainstem. Pons and the medulla oblongata is situated here. This is your foramen magnum. This is our important bone, petrous part of the temporal bone. Here only you will be having the middle ear and the inner ear. And here you have the external acoustic meatus. And now we are going to start. Look at this. This is the brainstem. Brainstem contains medulla, pons and midbrain. Midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. Here is your cerebellum. Now what happens? This medulla oblongata contains last 4 cranial nuclei. It means 9, 10, 11 and 12. And here you will be having pons 5, 6, 7 and 8. 5 is your trigeminal, 6 is your abducens, 7 is your facial and 8 is your vestibulocochlear. So all the 4 nuclei are present inside the pons. The nerves will be coming out in this junction called pontomedullary junction. So this is now 6th, 7th, 8th will be coming out through this pontomedullary junction. So our nerve is your 7th nerve. So the 7th nerve is coming out. After coming out, where it should go? Because I said this brainstem area is located in this area. So what happens? The nerve after it comes out, it enters into the internal acoustic meatus along with the 8th nerve, vestibulocochlear nerve and labyrinthine vessels. So it is entering into the ear. Okay, this is the petrous part of the temporal bone. So it has to go inside. And what happens next? Before that, you should know what is present inside the pons. Pons, you will be having the nucleus. You have the facial nerve nucleus. From the facial nerve nucleus, you can see the main motor nucleus which supplies the muscles of the facial expression, and you have the accessory nuclei which is called the superior salivatory nuclei and the lacrimatory nuclei. From the superior salivatory nuclei and the lacrimatory nuclei, other nuclei also we do have, that we will read in some other chapter, facial nerve chapter, solitary nucleus and tractus solitarius. Now you see the superior salivatory nucleus and the lacrimatory nucleus, some fibers are coming out and that fibers joins with the other facial nerve, tractus solitarius and the spinal nucleus fibers, and together it is called as nervus intermedius part of the facial nerve. It is called as nervus intermedius part of the facial nerve. These two fibers will be joined. Okay, it will be going together. Okay, so from this nervus intermedius part, you can see a ganglion that is called as geniculate ganglion. Why it is called genu? Genu means there is a bend. That's why it is called as geniculate ganglion. So now the nerve is coming out. The main nucleus you are seeing here, the lacrimatory nucleus, nervus intermedius component of the facial nerve. So while writing, you should write lacrimatory nucleus, from there nervus intermedius component of the facial nerve. After that it reaches and forms the ganglion called geniculate ganglion. The geniculate ganglion you can see is here near inside the petrous part of the temporal bone. Here you can see the nerve is coming out and then it is entering into the canal called the facial canal. The facial canal has an horizontal part and a vertical part. The horizontal part only we are going to discuss. Here is your geniculate ganglion. From the geniculate ganglion, a nerve is coming out on the petrous bone, that is your greater petrosal nerve. Look at this, greater petrosal nerve is coming here and it reaches the foramen lacerum here. Beneath that you will be having the carotid artery is coming through. But let us see where is the carotid canal. Look at this. This is the area where your internal carotid artery is entering. This is the carotid canal. So internal carotid artery, while entering, there is a nerve plexus from the superior cervical ganglion. The sympathetic nerve plexus will be surrounding the internal carotid artery. So this, from that nerve plexus, a nerve is going out, that is called as deep petrosal nerve. So what happens? Already I said the greater petrosal nerve is coming here and the greater petrosal nerve joins with which petrosal is coming down from the internal carotid artery. It joins with the deep petrosal nerve. So already greater petrosal nerve already we know and it joins with the deep petrosal. So deep petrosal, all the students should know that deep petrosal is a sympathetic nerve that is coming from the superior cervical ganglion that is a sympathetic ganglion. From there, the nerves, they form a plexus around the internal carotid artery. From there only your deep petrosal is coming. So your greater petrosal and deep petrosal, they join and forms the median nerve. This median nerve, they reach the ganglion called pterygopalatine ganglion. So where is that pterygopalatine ganglion? What is that fissure? This is the maxilla and this is the pterygoid plate. Between these two, there is a fissure called pterygomaxillary fissure. The pterygomaxillary fissure, if you go inside, you will be having the ganglion called pterygopalatine ganglion. So inside that only you will be having the pterygopalatine ganglion. This pterygopalatine ganglion is hanging down from the maxillary nerve, right? So the maxillary nerve. So this pterygopalatine ganglion, it will get relayed in that. It is getting relayed, and then from there, fibers will be taking which nerve is. What is this process present here? Look at this. This is a pterygomaxillary fissure. Inside that only you have the pterygopalatine ganglion. The pterygopalatine ganglion, which nerve is passing through maxillary nerve. So the most important branch of maxillary nerve is, what is this bone? Zygomatic. Okay, zygomatic facial is here. What is this part? Temporal. So what is the nerve lying here? Zygomaticotemporal. So from here, the nerve fibers which are coming from the pterygopalatine ganglion, they will catch the zygomaticotemporal nerve. From the zygomaticotemporal, it will catch a nerve here which is going to the lacrimal gland, is lacrimal nerve. So via the lacrimal nerve, it goes and supplies the lacrimal gland. So again I repeat, now I have removed the zygomatic process. You can see very well the pterygopalatine ganglion, and then inside that only the nerve is coming out. Here is the zygomaticotemporal nerve is present here, so it should catch the zygomaticotemporal. Now we will see the pathway nicely. Superior salivated nucleus or lacrimatory nucleus. From there, the nervous intermediate component of the facial nerve is coming, and then it forms a genu bend. That geniculate ganglion is forming here. Geniculate ganglion gives a very important branch called greater petrosal nerve. The greater petrosal nerve joins with the deep petrosal nerve. Deep petrosal nerve arises from the superior cervical ganglia, and the superior cervical ganglia, they form the sympathetic plexus surrounding the internal carotid artery. From there your deep petrosal is coming. Greater petrosal and the deep petrosal nerve, they join together and forms the Vidian nerve. The Vidian nerve reaches the ganglion called pterygopalatine ganglion. You keep it in mind, all the ganglion, they will be hanging down from one nerve. For example, ciliary ganglion means it has a connection with the nerve to inferior oblique. Like that, here also it has connection with the maxillary nerve. Aortic ganglion, it is hanging down from the mandibular nerve. Like that, maxillary nerve ganglion is pterygopalatine ganglion. Mandibular nerve ganglion is aortic ganglion. So it comes and it lies here. So from here, the branches will be going via the maxillary nerve. Maxillary nerve, the most important branch is zygomaticotemporal. If it catches the zygomaticotemporal, then only it can go and catch the lacrimal nerve. Lacrimal, via the lacrimal nerve, it goes and supplies the lacrimal gland. So this is the lacrimatory pathway. So how will you write in the exam lacrimatory pathway? Look at this. This is how you have to write the lacrimatory pathway in the exam. First, you should write the lacrimatory nucleus and nervous intermediate component of the facial nerve and geniculate ganglion, greater petrosal nerve, joins with deep petrosal nerve. If you want to give explanation about the deep petrosal nerve, you can give. Forms the Vidian nerve and reaches the pterygopalatine ganglion, and zygomaticotemporal it will catch from there. This pterygopalatine ganglion is hanging down from the maxillary, and it should catch the zygomaticotemporal, and via the lacrimal it will go and supply the lacrimal gland. So this is how you have to explain the lacrimatory reflex.